2025 edition of the African Conference on Agricultural Technologies has begun here in Kigali. Rwanda's Ministry of Agriculture has committed to introducing the Girolando breed of cows, renowned for their high milk production rate, in the country before the end of 2026. And on the international scene, the Trump administration's travel ban on multiple countries has now kicked in.
Yes.
Now, as we begin this edition of the news, let us first read to you the following announcement from the Office of the Prime Minister concerning the cabinet meeting that has taken place Monday. On Monday, June the 9th, 2025, a cabinet meeting was convened at Village Rugwiro, chaired by the Prime Minister of Rwanda, Dr. Edouard Ngirente. The cabinet discussed Rwanda's withdrawal on the 7th of June 2025 from the Economic Community of Central African States, or ECAS, and noted the following. It is not acceptable that individual member states of ECAS, including the Democratic Republic of Congo, or DRC, be permitted to manipulate the regional organization against a fellow member state. As the immediate former chair of ECAS, that is from February 2023 to February 2024, the DRC violated the organization's rules to unjustly collude against Rwanda, a fact that was officially brought to the attention of their membership to no effect. The manipulation has continued under the current chair. The conflict in eastern DRC was already ongoing when the DRC assumed the chairmanship of ECAS in 2023. Therefore, the pretext of the conflict does not apply in justifying recent actions. It should be recalled as the fact that the DRC initiated the conflict by launching attacks against its own citizens in late 2021. The DRC has also allowed its eastern provinces to be overrun by over 200 illegal foreign and local armed groups which constitute a security threat to neighboring countries. The DRC has sustained and continues to finance and support the FDLR genocidal militia in numerous attempts to destabilize Rwanda, in violation of more than 20 UN Security Council resolutions. The most recent UN Security Council resolution, that is 2773, condemns the support of the DRC government to the FDLR and calls for the cessation of the support and a neutralization of the Kinshasa-backed FDLR. Now, colluding with a UN-sanctioned group while evoking legality, responsibility, and multilateralism is contradictory. The repeated cross-border shelling and incursions into Rwanda by the Congolese armed forces and the FDLR, as well as President Tshisekedi's public threats to overthrow the government of Rwanda, directly violated Article 3 of the ECAS Treaty on Good Neighborliness. The rights of all member states of ECAS must be fully and equally respected. The DRC should focus on resolving its serious long-standing internal failings instead of making the rounds in international forums, crying foul and blaming external parties. Rwanda remains committed to the pursuit of peace through dialogue and full participation in the African-led peace process, as well as the complementary mediation initiatives of the United States government and the state of Qatar. Now, the cabinet reiterated Rwanda's decision to withdraw from the Economic Community of Central African States. Now, the cabinet approved the draft law determining the state finances for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. The cabinet approved reforms to strengthen learning outcomes in public and government-aided schools while establishing well-rounded and career-aligned learning pathways. The cabinet approved the agreement for proposed ambassadors and representatives of international organizations. Now, ambassadors, Ms. Irene Vidagala, ambassador of the Federative Republic of Brazil to Rwanda with residence in Kigali, Rwanda. Mr. Gao Weiqin, the ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Rwanda with residence in Kigali, Rwanda. Ms. Aurélie Royette Gouin, the ambassador of France to Rwanda with residence in Kigali, Rwanda. Ms. Neza Alwil Hamdi, ambassador of the Kingdom of Morocco to Rwanda with residence in Kigali, Rwanda. Mr. Casper Steger-Jesten, ambassador of the Kingdom of Denmark to Rwanda with residence in Kigali, Rwanda. Ms. Margaret Gaynor, the ambassador of Ireland to Rwanda with residence in Kampala, Uganda. Representatives of international organizations, Mr. Hamdou Fouge, the resident representative of the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, to Rwanda. Ms. Katia Soren, the head of the mission of the International Committee of the Red Cross, or ICRC, to Rwanda. And Professor Nikasin Dembi, the regional director of the International Vaccine Institute, or IVI, Africa Regional Office based in Kigali. The announcement is dated June the 9th, 2025, Kigali, and has been signed by Dr. Edouard Ngirente, the Prime Minister of Rwanda. Now on to the details of this edition of the News in English. Young people across Africa engaged in agriculture and livestock farming believe that active government involvement in creating favorable policies and strategies could significantly boost investment in the sector and contribute to the development of modern farming systems. We have the details with Adams Kwizera.
Women are Bulletin, a young farmer from Ramagana district in Rwanda who cultivates chili, says that a lack of confidence among youth remains one of the main barriers to progress in the agriculture sector. Moses Atoboye, an agripreneur from Nigeria, expressed concern over the still low youth participation in the agriculture and livestock, despite the fact that young people have the best position to adopt and scale modern farming technologies.
Farming has gone beyond that, but farming is now an enterprise. So you need a lot of advocacy on that. You need to let people know. Then we need to start showcasing the youths who are doing well in agriculture for them to embrace it. And to be honest, it's difficult for people to say agriculture is the way forward when they are not seeing the progress. We need to blow the trumpet. We need to announce success stories. We need to let the youth know that, look, it's not about white-collar job all the time. And by the way, technology, mechanization, it's about the youth.
Participants at the Africa Conference on Agriculture Technology, ACAT, emphasized the importance of government and private sector involvement. They asserted that if youth are given the platform and tools to engage meaningfully in agriculture, productivity in this sector would soar. In Rwanda, for example, agriculture currently contributes around 25% to the national GDP.
The biggest number of population in Africa are the youth and their capacities in terms of digitalization and technology. So the other day we got two interns from RICA, and it's a university that's giving the skills and knowledge to young people. So when they came to our plant and they were interns, we thought we were going to tell them what to do. Instead, they were telling us what to do. They have a lot that they know, that they have a lot that they have to bring. So that, and also the last one is continuing to sensitize and also to the banks to make it affordable, to make technology affordable. Are there special packages for people who are into agriculture and especially agriculture technologies, special packages that give long grace periods, small interest rates? Yeah, so really those three.
Government should be able to facilitate the right policies and also provide the right framework for private sector plus government itself to be able to engage so that solutions that are bred are really representative of the needs that farmers are facing.
This week, Kigali is hosting the Africa Conference on Agriculture Technologies, which will include a dedicated youth engagement program that provides a space for young agripreneurs, innovators, researchers, and advocates to showcase their work, engage with stakeholders, access investment opportunities, and build their capacities.
Now, the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources here in Rwanda has confirmed that by the end of 2026, the country will have imported significant numbers of the Girando cows known for high milk production and disease resilience. Meanwhile, livestock farmers, including those from Nyagatare district, say they are committed to improving milk yield, but are asking the government to support them with accessing quality and resilient breeds. To boost milk production, some farmers in Nyagatare, with government support, already have started raising Girando cows, which have shown a clear advantage over local breeds. Experts confirm that the Girando cattle are well suited for Rwanda's climate and perform well both in milk and meat production. During a recent meeting with livestock farmers in the Eastern Province, the Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Mark Chubairo-Bagabe, emphasized that Rwanda aims to promote the breeding of the Girando cows due to their unique qualities. The ministry has explained that by 2026, large numbers of the cows will begin being bred in Rwanda through crossbreeding with other cows already in the country. Statistics show that national milk production rose from 776 million litres in 2017 to over 1 billion litres by last year. However, Minagri notes that Rwanda still lags behind other countries in terms of high-yielding dairy cows. Now, the Ministry of Infrastructure says that construction of the Rusizi 3 hydro dam will begin in early 2026 and is expected to provide electricity to over 300,000 people across Rwanda, Burundi, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Rusizi 3 project had been under discussion for over 10 years without implementation. The dam will be built on the Rusizi River, joining two existing dams on the river itself. Minister Dr. Jimmy Gasore, Alison Thorpe, the UK's envoy to Rwanda, and the European Union ambassador to Rwanda, Belen Uyara, and others visited the site where this regional infrastructure project involving Rwanda, Burundi, and the DRC will be established. And Dr. Gasore stated that based on the current level of preparation, construction work will begin no later than early next year. Rusizi 3 will be funded by the European Investment Bank, the African Development Bank, the World Bank, and other partners. It is projected to cost around $800 million and will generate 206 megawatts of power to be shared among the three countries. Now, across the country, some women say that they fear getting screened for breast cancer, while others say that they lack information on how the screening is done. Medical experts say breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer-related deaths among women. However, those who detect it early have an up to 80% chance of recovery if they begin treatment promptly. Despite this fear, some parents in both rural and urban areas have taken the step to get screened. At the University Teaching Hospital of Butare, using a mammography machine to screen the breast cancer, between 1 and 3 women are diagnosed with the disease every 2 weeks. The Rwanda Biomedical Center has reported that in 2024, 5,500 people were diagnosed with cancer, of whom about 3,000 died from it. The Minister of Health, Dr. Sabin Sanzimana, recently stated that the government has enabled every citizen covered by Mutuelle de Santé, that's the community-based health insurance, to access cancer screening like any other health service. Here in Rwanda, the cancers that cause the most deaths are breast cancer, cervical cancer, prostate cancer, followed by cancers of the colon, stomach, and liver. In sub-Saharan Africa, including Rwanda, 143,130 people were screened for breast cancer for the first time, and the disease claimed 71,662 lives. The World Health Organization says that the number of breast cancer-related deaths continue to rise, with 20 million people diagnosed globally in 2022 and about 10 million dying from it. Now, the National Child Development Agency says that here in Rwanda, 37% of children suffer from anemia due to inadequate care. Parents have therefore been urged to pay more attention to their children by providing everything they need for healthy growth, including a balanced diet rich in nutrients and iron supplements that help increase blood levels to support both physical and mental development. Parents have been urged to give priority to their children's nutrition, noting that the 2020 demographic and health survey showed that 37% of children suffer from anemia. Their target is to reduce this to below 20% by 2029. Under the government's 5-year development plan, that is NST2, there is also a goal to reduce the stunting rate in children from the current 33% to 15% by the end of 2029. Now, preschool teachers are reporting that the competence-based curriculum that was introduced based learning methods, which have significantly improved the quality of education in early childhood schools. As a result, children now start primary school with strong foundational knowledge. Teachers say that teaching preschoolers through play has greatly enhanced the quality of education in such schools. Parents also support this approach by helping their children to review lessons through play at home, even if they cannot read or write. This method of play-based teaching is supported by the Ministry of Education in collaboration with international education-focused organizations to ensure sufficient teaching aids. The coordinator of the Twigire mu Mikino project from the British International Organization, VSO, says this program is showing positive results.
Challenges we are resolving now is capacitating teachers to have ability to teach pre-primary learners. What we do, we train them and we capacitate them in teaching techniques, and we provide teaching and learning materials to support teaching and learning. Now, teachers and school leaders have ability to support learners in pre-primary. They have ability to teach learners using play approaches, and they are able to prepare the teaching and learning.
The Deputy Director General of the Rwanda Basic Education Board explains that this teaching approach was developed from the curriculum with the aim of improving the quality of education in preschools.
This program of play-based approach, or running through play, is a program where Rwanda Basic Education Board invested in terms of teacher training, in terms of providing play-based materials, but also in terms of training teachers on how to make rockery materials. So it's an effective approach of teaching that is very appropriate for pre-primary learners. Competence-based curriculum require that a learner is at the center of teaching and learning. He or she should have an active time, or should actively participate in learning. So running through play help learners in pre-primary to be able to participate actively in teaching. So what we have seen so far as an improvement is that we are seeing learner in pre-primary being actively involved in learning, and we are seeing participation of learners in pre-primary, because the enrollment in pre-primary has increased, which means that parents, learners, they are seeing a positive impact in education. But also we see the impact of play-based learning, or learning through play, in the readiness of learners in pre-primary when they are entering primary education, because there is a lot of impact and difference between a learner who have had a chance to go to pre-primary and a learner who had not have a chance to go to pre-primary. So you can see in terms of academic achievement, in terms of readiness, the difference between students or learners who are in pre-primary and those who are not.
The 2016 competence-based curriculum is the one that introduced play-based learning. Rwanda currently has close to 4,000 preschools with a total of 9,259 teachers.
During lapse moments, playing hoops, giving away, making moves, breakfast with family. Inyanje is always there. Whatever the occasion, whatever the moment, always ask for Inyanje.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo agira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka imwe, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njye muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko nashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashije, ariko byaragiye nanditse amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye zibimaho. Bigereho.
Now straight to international news, and the Trump administration's travel ban has kicked in, and Cuba is one of the countries affected. The travel from the island will be further reduced, and the U.S. Embassy in Havana, that is, will stop issuing visas. It's just the latest in a series of sanctions from Washington. Al Jazeera with the details.
Entrepreneur Greta Tilan produces natural beauty products. She imports some of her raw materials from the US.
We try to bring products, the raw material that we need to run our business. It's tiny in comparison to what a big business would import, but it works for us.
Like many other business owners, she's been hit by the Trump administration's hawkish policies towards the island. They include a partial travel ban on Cuba that comes into effect on Monday. On Friday, people lined up outside the US Embassy to collect their visas for the last time.
There should be a change here, but I don't think that they should strangle us.
But are they strangling you?
Yes, they're stopping us from leaving.
The travel ban is just the latest in a series of powerful new sanctions the Trump administration has imposed on this island. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said the one-party state is an enemy of humanity, and that more measures are in the pipeline. The number of tourists visiting Cuba has halved since 2017. Chanel hosted a major fashion show on this boulevard a decade ago. It sees few tourists these days. Economists say the travel ban and other White House measures target the country's main sources of income.
It creates a kind of fear among people to deter them from going backwards and forwards between Cuba and the United States. And so the airlines will reduce their flights, which is already happening, and so there will be this stream of money that's coming in, often in cash, will dry up. Now, for a lot of people, that's how they survive at the moment in Cuba.
For decades, Cubans are among the most privileged Latin American migrants in the US. But conditions are not the same for people like Heidi Sanchez, who was separated from her daughter in Florida in April.
When the plane touched down in Cuba, they let me call my husband. I asked him, "Did they give you our daughter?" He said, "Yes, Haiti, I have our daughter." And that was a huge relief because they put many in centers.
And with new restrictions coming into place, people on this troubled island are bracing for even more pain. Ed Augustin, Al Jazeera, Havana.
Now, before we conclude this edition of the News in English, let us again take a look at the headlines. The 2025 edition of the African Conference on Agricultural Technologies has begun here in Kigali. Rwanda's Ministry of Agriculture has committed to introducing the Girolando breed of cows, renowned for their high milk production rate, in the country before the end of 2026. And the Trump administration's travel ban on multiple countries has now kicked in. We thank you so much for taking the time to join us for this edition of the news. Please join Martina Abera for the next edition, and I'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye.
byiza kuri mwe mwese mudukurikiye tubaha ikaze ku makuru y'iterambere mutegurirwa na Meteo Rwanda igiye kugezaho nitwa Ugirande Emmanuel. Tatangira tubera hamwe ibyaranze ikirere cy'uyu munsi, turaza kureba iterambere ry'umunsi w'ejo ndetse n'iminsi 5 iri imbere tuzakomeza kwitwara. Tureba uyu munsi ku masaha ya mu gitondo twaramukanye ibicu byiganje mu turere twose tugize igihugu. Ni nako ku masaha yo kwica munsi ibicu byakomeje kwiyongera bigatanga imvura yaguye mu bice bitandukanye bigize igihugu. Ku masaha ya nijoro hateganyijwe imvura yumvikanamo inkuba, iyo mvura yumvikanamo inkuba ikaba iteganyijwe mu turere twa Musanze, Gakenke dore mu ntara y'Amajyaruguru, Nyabihu, Rubavu, Karongi, Nyamasheke, Rusizi dore mu ntara y'Iburengerazuba, na Nyamagabe na Nyaruguru dore mu ntara y'Amajyepfo. Mu gihe ahandi hasigaye nta mvura ihateganyijwe. Dukomeje n'umunsi w'ejo ku itariki 10 Kamena 2025 hateganyijwe umuyaga uringaniye ukoza ufite umuvuduko uri hagati ya metero 3 n'6 ku segonda. Icyerekezo cy'umuyaga uzabuhuwa uva mu burasirazuba bw'igihugu cyacu werekeza mu bindi bice bigiye bitandukanye bigize igihugu. Ku masaha ya mu gitondo umunsi w'ejo nta mvura iteganyijwe, bivuze yuko tuzaramukana ibicu byiganje mu turere twose tugize igihugu. Mu gipimo cy'ubushyuhe bwasitanije ku masaha mu gitondo kizaba kiri hagati ya degre Celsius 11 na 16. Mu gihe hateganyijwe kuzagira igipimo cy'ubushyuhe bwasi ku masaha mu gitondo ari mu karere ka Nyabihu uherereye mu ntara y'Iburengerazuba, igipimo cy'ubushyuhe bwasi cya degre Celsius 11. Ku masaha yo ku gicamunsi hateganyijwe imvura yumvikanamo inkuba, iyo mvura yumvikanamo inkuba ikaba itegereje mu ntara y'Iburengerazuba, y'Amajyaruguru, umujyi wa Kigali no mu turere twa Nyamagabe, Nyaruguru dore mu ntara y'Amajyepfo na Nyagatare, Gatsibo dore mu ntara y'Iburasirazuba. Mu gihe ahandi hasigaye nta mvura ihateganyijwe. Mu gipimo cy'ubushyuhe bwo hejuru giteganyijwe ku masaha y'icamunsi kizaba kiri hagati ya degre Celsius 21 na 29. Cyateganyijwe kuzagira igipimo cy'ubushyuhe bwo hejuru ku masaha y'icamunsi ari mu karere ka Nyagatare gare mu ntara y'Iburasirazuba, ateganyijwe cy'ubushyuhe bwo hejuru cya degre Celsius 29. Dukomeje n'iminsi 5 iri imbere ubwo n'ubwera ku munsi w'ejo tukagera ku itariki 14 Kamena 2025. Mu minsi 5 iri imbere uretse ku munsi w'ejo hateganyijwe imvura mu bice bitandukanye by'igihugu, naho guhera ku itariki 11 tukagera ku itariki 14 nta mvura iteganyijwe. Ni ukuvuga yuko hateganyijwe ibicu byiganje. Reka se tubabwira yuko ku munsi w'ejo izuba rizarasa ku isaa 11:53 za mu gitondo rikarenga ku isaa 12:3 zo ku mugoroba. Murakoze mukomeze kugira ibihe byiza.
What's